Isabella Morin. Near the end of your podcast on martial arts cults with Louis Martin, you were discussing high rates of suicide and cancer for OT8s. Regarding cancer rates, you explained psychosomatic reasons, high stress factors, why OT8s might develop cancers. I was surprised you didn't mention that they also might believe themselves above seeking medical care and rely on their OT powers to cure themselves. Was it an omission, as can happen during a spontaneous conversation, or do you not think it to be the case? Hey, thanks, Isabel. No, of course, I would definitely include that under reasons why Scientologists, especially at the top of the bridge, would not necessarily, would get cancer or develop symptomology of cancer or other major illnesses or diseases and not do anything about it, or sort of try to, how they say, glow it right or make it go right, or sort of think it, outthink it out of existence. And they don't call it thinking, they call it postulating, creating a positive postulate in Scientology is a determined, intended thing that you want to have occur. And the higher you go up the bridge to total freedom and the more case you've gotten rid of and the more, the accumulated stress and trauma of your past 4 quadrillion years, the more you've gotten rid of that through Scientology auditing, the more ability and the more powerful your ability to postulate is supposed to become. And this is a big thing in Scientology, making positive postulates. And I think I've talked about this recently, so I won't belabor the point. But Scientologists really would prefer to not, of course, have to spend money on medical stuff, and because they want to save it all for the bridge, because the bridge is expensive. And also, of course, Hubbard wrote in many places that a lot of illnesses, perhaps all illnesses in one degree or another, are psychosomatic in nature and therefore should be able to be addressed spiritually through Scientology auditing or counseling or education. And that's how Scientologists think they're supposed to be able to deal with this stuff. And there's actually even a bulletin called Solve It with Scientology, where Hubbard sort of promotes this point of view. There are other bulletins, of course, sort of CYA kind of, cover your ass kind of stuff, with Hubbard writing that, of course, if somebody has a medical condition, they should go get that addressed. We must work with the doctors, sort of thing, to provide, treatment for people. But he really, it's sort of almost eschewed or poo-pooed when it comes time for the rubber to meet the road as to how Scientologists are actually going to live their lives. It is only when things are really, for the most part, it's only when things have gone a bit too far that they'll actually start going to seek real medical care or attention. And I have to say, of course, that there are exceptions to all of this, and that there are plenty of public Scientologists who don't have any problem at all going to the doctor at the slightest hint of a, sniffle or sneeze or something. But again, by Scientology, they're encouraged to solve it with Scientology. And when you get to the level of staff, and especially the level of the Sea Org, these don't, the let's go solve it with medicine is hardly an option for them. And they're sort of stuck on a Sea Org base. They have to have special permission to even leave, et cetera, et cetera. With OT8s, their mindset is very similar in many ways to the mindset of a Sea Org member. Because they have gone so far up the bridge, they've had to jump through so many hoops, they've had to get so much security checking by the time they get to OT8, that they really do, it changes you and it changes your mindset. And I can't even speak really fully intelligently about the full mindset of an OT8, because I didn't go through OT8 myself. I've only spoken with others about it who did, but it changes you. And if you maintain the Scientology bubble world mindset, the OT8 one is almost a whole nother bubble world inside the bubble world, right? It's a construct of a construct kind of a thing, because you have created this reality for yourself that you are an individual who is among a handful of people in the entire universe who has achieved this state of spiritual existence and certainty and ethical level as well, right? You feel like you are the most moral, ethical person that you know or could possibly contemplate. So there's a lot of puffery, right? There's a lot of puffed up arrogance and conceit to an OT8 because they've been built up over all that time. I'm sure you get the point. And that alone can also contribute to why they wouldn't necessarily feel that they should be seeking any help or need any help. So that's just another factor to pile in on top of all of this. So there's a lot going on there. But yeah, that's, I think, one of the reasons why we do hear about that and we don't hear about OT8s, going to the hospital and getting some help. At least not until it's too late. And then they've died and, it could have been prevented.